Hi there guys and girls, and welcome to my unboxing and review of Darksiders 2. First I'm going to do the unboxing and then I'm going to tell you guys what I think about Darksiders 2. Basically it's a fantastic game, but I'll get into that in a minute. Let's first check out the collector's edition, which I picked up today. It's a bit late, I know. I've been struggling a bit lately with the old money supply, but finally was able to pay off the collectors today on the Xbox there and pick it up. So let's check out what's inside. Okay, I'll cut that one. Right, I won't need that again. Alright. Right. You see when you look in the top of the box, I'll take these out one by one. So I'll start with the game, I guess. So we have the Xbox game here, which is the Darksiders 2 Death Rides pack. Actually, I gotta say I'm a bit disappointed. I thought for sure I'd get the holographic cover in the box because it's the collector's edition. I'm actually really disappointed with that. Straight off the bat, I'll be honest, because the original Darksiders, which I've got here actually, as you can see, I got this on launch, and I've got the shiny cover, and now there is a shiny cover for Darksiders 2, and I've seen it. There's a few. There's like the Death Rides, and I think it's the limited one or something, and yeah, now I don't have it, which is a bummer, a real bummer. Not to be sold separately, so I can't really trade it at EB and swap it or anything. It's a bit annoying. Oh well, next step is the artwork chronicle. That comes in a bag for some reason. It's nice. Matte picture here, but glossy printing here. Slightly raised up. Very nice. These art books seem to be the rage since Gears of War. These little sort of fold out ones. And as you can see, yeah, there's some of the work by I can't say his name properly. It's Joe. Everyone just calls him Joe Mad because it's easier to call him just Joe Mad, but Joe Matadura or something. Yeah. Yeah, and as you can see, yeah, whole lot of art in here from the game. All the characters. There's the Crowfather. He's got a pretty big role in the game. I've actually beaten the game. I've actually gone through it. So, yeah, that's cool. Put that back in there. Yeah, it's weird. I thought for sure the collectors would have the shiny cover. I thought for sure. But oh well. Why do I even need to put it back in the bag? I don't know. I'm just like that, alright guys? Okay. Alright, what do we got next? Next we have the Death Mask. So that just comes out in one piece like that. There's the digital soundtrack, of course. Code for the digital soundtrack. That's the Death Mask there. Pretty cool. It's just made of plastic, but it's like pretty thick plastic. Nice little spray job on there. It's just been painted, but it really does sort of look like bone, as you can see here. Dust, show me the way. That also comes with a stand for the mask, which is here in the box. I'm not going to take it out and put it on the stand though, but as you see, it's got the base and the peg, and yeah, there's a peg hole in the bottom of the mask, so you can just sit that on your whatever. So that's it. That's the unboxing. Pretty cool, huh? So that's it. Yeah. My only nitpick is the cover. Because like I said, I got the shiny first one and now I don't have the shiny second one. And I mean, that really is a nitpick, but it just bugs me because I saw the shiny covers in the store and I thought for sure that I was buying the collectors, I would get that shiny cover. Guess not. Yeah, thanks for watching my unboxing. Now let's talk about the game, Darksiders 2. If you're not familiar with Darksiders or the Darksiders franchise, I'll give you a brief sort of history. Let me just say a disclaimer. It's been ages since I played this. I played it on launch and beat it and haven't touched it since, so I'm very rusty about the first Darksiders. But I'm just going to tell you a bit about the gameplay. In the first game, you play as a character called War, and he's one of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. As far as the story goes, War has... Well, Armageddon has been released on Earth, which is like the end of mankind. And basically, War's been blamed for it. And apparently it wasn't time for the kingdom of man to come to an end. And so several people are hunting War for it. They want to punish him, like angels and I think demons too. They're sort of, you know, more so the angels, I think, that are after him. They want to make him pay, sort of, for, you know, for doing that. But War was innocent. It was someone else. It's sort of that whole conspiracy going on back there. And in the first game, yeah, you play as War, who is a warrior. He has his horse, Ruin, which you can use in, like, very open areas, like, you know, big paddocks and that. Or just big areas in general. The idea of the game is to traverse the various sections, and in the first game you're on Earth, and yeah, you have to go through all the different levels, fight different enemies, bosses, you learn your combos and that, etc. It's the gameplay is often compared to God of War and things like Zelda. In fact, when I bought it, most people were saying it was a more adult version of Zelda, and I think that's spot on. Now, a lot of people sometimes are nitpicky with things like that. They say, oh, that a game shouldn't have, you know, there should be something new to it. It shouldn't just be like Zelda, or it shouldn't just be like God of War. But the thing is, Zelda's an old game, you know, it's one of the first, and Darksiders is one of many that's copied that sort of, you know, puzzle-solving, you know, adventure. I think it's unfair to judge a game just because it's like another game like that. Basically, the way a game should be judged is on the experience. And the experience of playing Darksiders was a lot of fun. You get to see all these, you know, different areas in the first game, and you're like, oh wow, where am I going now? And you get to these crazy puzzles that you have to really think to solve, you know. Like, I remember being stuck a few times in the first game, and even the boss fights are puzzles themselves. You sort of have to work out the way to beat the boss and everything. And that's the sort of game that Darksiders is. Darksiders 2 is a bit different in the way that War moves. War felt more heavy and more slow and sort of more strong, whereas Death feels more wiry. He's like, he's super strong, but he's not one of those, he's big, but he's not one of those, you know, huge, heavy guys, like, and he's very agile. He can move out of the way of things, and he dodges, you know, when someone tries to attack, you dodge out the way, and then you unleash one of your combos. War had a big sword as his weapon, and Death wields the scythes, but he has a secondary weapon, which is usually a hammer or an axe or something. Now, the cool thing about Darksiders 2 is that in the game you'll find weapons, you find different size. So you always have the size, but there's ones that they look different and they have different abilities. Some give you health, some give you wrath, some give just increase your overall health HP. Some have, you know, lightning damage or frost damage or fire damage, things like that. So they have these abilities. It sort of reminds me of Borderlands. Because I remember in Borderlands you pick up all these guns and you find the same pistol, but like one pistol does more damage than the other one, and this is the same. You know, you find new sides that do more damage and have more effects. So basically what you're doing in this game is, while you're sort of hack and slashing, because that's the way the combat is, you're finding new weapons, upgrading your weapons, and getting a better arsenal and things like that. Also, you can find gloves in the game, shoes, cloaks, armor, all sorts of things, and they all have different attributes. They can raise your health, your strength, etc. You know, you have talismans as well. They can do things. I had a really good talisman that I just got. Actually, I got it after I beat the game. That was a bit spewing. I should have. It was a side quest, that's why, and I went back and did it after. But on Execute, you get like 440 health. The talisman's called Grim. And in the game, I found a talisman that I think gave me 220 on Execute, and that was the one I was using the most. Now, you may think that the Darksiders is very sort of standard or generic in what I've told you, but there's other things too. Like, there's a gun called Redemption, and it's one of the other horsemen's weapon, and you get it in this game, and you use that to, you know, shoot things that you can't reach. And also, it's really good in boss fights, I find, because it builds your wrath faster. And the thing about wrath is you get all these abilities. As you play and as you level up your character, you'll be able to unlock all these new abilities. My favourite ability was called Murder. And basically, Murder is death summons a murder of crows, which is, if you don't know, is what the name is of a group of crows. And all these crows come and just like attack your enemy, and they just do it for you. It's automatic, and you can sort of dodge. You can just unleash them and then just keep dodging, and they do their thing. And as they attack, they take a bit of health, not a lot, but they get you health back. And the more you upgrade those, the better they get, and the more health they do, and the more health they get you back. And also, you can turn them into ice crows, and sometimes they freeze your enemy, and they're stuck, and you can just go over there and unleash your big combo on them. Also helps with your combo. I think I got up to like 80 or 90 with my highest combo, which I'm sure you can get higher on. You know, I didn't really research the combos, I'll be honest. I thought I was just playing, but I was having a lot of fun. It's really easy to pick up and play. It's basically just a juggle of X and triangle. But like I said, yeah, there's all sorts of abilities that you can unlock, skill points. There's the main storyline will take you a long time to do. You won't be able to do it in a fast sitting. It will give you a decent amount of time. It will take you a decent amount of time to do it. And then on top of that, you'll get all these side quests. Like, I kept getting side quests, and I was like, oh my god, another one. And I didn't do any of them. And I've beaten the game now, and now I want to go back and do all the side quests because it's fun. Like, it's just such an epic world. And Darksiders 2, you're not on Earth, or you do go at one point in the game, but you're not on Earth, and you're exploring like the Maker's Realm and Angel Realm and Demon Realm. You go to all these different places, and they all have their own look and feel. Some have a feel of beauty, and some have a feel of the fact that it's like the Demon Realm's hot and dark and scary place sort of thing, and the Angel Realm sort of nice, and then there's a sort of in-between realm called Lost Light, which is like, you know, very sort of almost heavenly, you know. And yeah, you get some crazy puzzles, man. Some crazy puzzles. Like, some puzzles I was just like, oh my god. You know, and you really, and that's what I like about this game. It's not just a game you can just pick up and like be like, start drooling, just, you know, button mash your way through it and beat the game. No. You can button mash for a while and do combos, and that's the fun part. And then you get to points in the game and you're like, okay, there's a puzzle. There's a switch here and there's a switch there and there's a shadow bomb over there and I can climb up there and there's a gate and I can go on the other side of that, and you just got to figure the whole thing out in the right order, you know, and you get all sorts of abilities as you go through this game. Like you get, you're able to open portals on certain surfaces so you can jump through, and oh man, the puzzles with those were sort of crazy. And you get this one ability called Soul Shatter, maybe. And yeah, it makes death sort of split into two, and this big death statue appears, and that's cool because you can take control of both guys, but they can't open doors, but they can move around and do things. And the statue themselves also, you know, you can use to put pressure on pressure pads in certain puzzles, and yeah, it's a really good game. The combat is a lot of fun. There's really awesome characters. It's visually stunning. The soundtrack, by the way, is done by Jasper Kyd, KYD, who did Assassin's Creed also, and it's an epic, very sort of Lord of the Rings sort of style soundtrack. Sounds very, you know, larger than life sort of thing. Very sort of, you know, that sort of, that's what it felt. At times it really felt like Lord of the Rings, because you know in Lord of the Rings you see them, they go to a level and there's giant, they go to places and there's like giant statues and they're like that big, and there's times in the game when that's how you feel, because you're always tiny in the game and you're in these giant worlds and they're just larger than life and epic, and it's crazy. It's just a lot of crazy fun. The graphics were just so nice to look at, and Joe Mad does all the art design. The sound effects were good, they were crunchy, enjoyable. The soundtrack was awesome. The gameplay was fluid and easy. I didn't have many problems playing through the game. I mean, sometimes I'd stuff the occasional wall run up and might jump off and kill myself or something, but and that's the other thing. You get all these abilities in the game like wall run and then you can sort of bounce off walls, and then you get this thing called death grip, and you can grab things and swing and keep wall running, and it's just so much fun. Death just looks so cool when he's like doing all these things in the game, like he's just running along these walls and he's just jumping from each side and then wall jumping and climbing up these beams, and and it's a very, very cool game, and I had loads of fun with Darksiders 2. So yeah, thanks for watching my review. I've put a bit of footage here while I was talking for you to check out a bit of the fighting and a few other things. But I'm going to stick up also on my YouTube channel 1 hour of gameplay, which is, I know, that's a lot, that's huge. You don't have to watch the whole thing, up to you. But it's got a whole lot of me playing the game for about an hour, puzzle solving, and you can see me sort of working out how to solve some of the puzzles. Sometimes I'm just like doing everything wrong, and then I figure it out, and you know, you see how the game works and how it plays. Check it out, because if you haven't played Darksiders, it's a fantastic game. It's definitely one of my favourite games that's come out in the last few years. It was recommended to me by a friend who worked at my local EB Games, and really glad, because yeah, I was really excited when Darksiders 2 was announced. For a long time I was sending tweets and that to THQ saying, when's Darksiders 2 coming out? Because Darksiders 1 had come out and then there was nothing after that, and I thought maybe it didn't do very well or something and there wasn't going to be a Darksiders 2. And I really wanted to see a Darksiders 2 because the way this game ends, it sort of sets up that it just feels like there's going to be 4 games, and each game you're going to play as one of the horsemen. And I recently interviewed Jeremy Griner, which you can also see on my YouTube, and he said, you know, if the games do well, that's probably what they're hoping to do, is have 4 games with each of the 4 horsemen. And so the 4 horsemen are War, Death, Strife and Fury. One of them's a chick, Strife or Fury, I can't remember which one. But they've shown a few pictures, but no other details other than that, because they've focused on the second Darksiders. But yeah, thanks for watching my review and my unboxing, and I'll see you guys next time for something very special. Channel TotalMK's 800th video, which is something you guys have been waiting for. Check it out, and I'll see you guys next time.